Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, I'm going to help you understand what type of stocks you should SIP your money, especially now because the market is at an all-time high. So it is important for us to be careful as to what type of stocks we are picking to do SIPs on. This is one. Second key point is that whenever we are running our SIPs, we end up spending crazy amount of money on commissions. In fact, मैं आपको index funds पे दिखा सकता हूँ that people pay a lot of commission and even 1% commissions on your SIPs can kill your wealth. So let me explain that point first very quickly. So for example, let's say here is the entire mathematics calculation ki if you're running a monthly SIP of 25,000 and if you're doing it in index funds, right? So index funds typically give 12% returns. If you are 20 years old, 30 years old, then you might be active in the stock market till 70 years and you might be running your SIPs. So 40 year ka time period pakad lete hain, right? So the total corpus value comes out to be 30 crores. Now let us change one data point on this entire calculation and let's bring the expected return from 12% to 11%. Now why have I taken 11%? Because for many funds the expense ratio is 1%, okay? And how much did your portfolio go down by? So वहाँ पे 30 crores था, यहाँ पे it's 21.5 crores. So this is like how much drop, right? अगर base आप 21 मान लो, right? So base अगर if you keep 21, then this is like a 30% difference just based on commissions. This is how much money people are losing in terms of running SIPs. So on this video, I'm going to help you understand some of the critical mistakes that people are making in terms of running their SIPs, especially around commissions, how to save lakhs and crores, right? Honestly, like in your entire investing career, just by having little bit of sense as to how to curate your SIPs. So the first key point is that you should keep your SIP commissions low or as low as possible. I had already given you an example, but at a asset class level, for example, many people, what they do is that they prefer large cap funds, right? Large cap actively managed funds, right? Now यहाँ पे क्या होता है? There is something called as expense ratio, right? Expense ratio. Expense ratio simply means that how much commission is that mutual fund manager taking or that mutual fund taking from you. This can easily range between 1 to 2%, right? And this is very high. I had already shown you the computation. What should you do? So in case you are investing in large cap funds, जो safe से होते हैं, उसकी जगह पे what should you do? You should go and invest your money in Nifty 50 index, okay? This is much better SIP instrument. So please identify good SIP instruments to begin with. If you are doing it at a fund level, right, or mutual funds वगैरह में आप invest करते हो, then it's better to do Nifty 50 compared to large cap actively managed mutual funds. Data tells us that almost 85% of these fund managers are unable to beat the index. अब कई लोग शुरू हो जाएंगे इन द कमेंट बॉक्स कि नहीं माय फंड मैनेजर गिव मी दिस रिटर्न दैट रिटर्न. भाई मैक्रो डेटा इज टेलिंग अस दैट 85% ऑफ द फंड मैनेजर्स, एक्टिवली मैनेज फंड मैनेजर्स, आर अनेबल टू बीट द बेंचमार्क रिटर्न. दिस इज नॉट माय डेटा, दिस इज व्हाट द डेटा टेल्स अस, मैक्रो डेटा टेल्स अस. सो ऑन दैट नोट, वन वेरी सिंपल थिंग टू डू इन टर्म्स ऑफ रनिंग योर SIP which can literally save you crores is that please do Nifty 50 on index funds. And if you're doing it on index funds, please check that the commissions or expense ratio is lowest possible. For example, यहाँ मैंने Axis का check करके बताया. These are the expense ratio that is there for Axis funds. You can go and check it. Every other mutual fund house that is offering these type of services and pick the one where the expense ratio is the least. This is literally step one, the easiest change that you can make right now in order to generate very good alpha on your portfolio. Now the second key point is that you can also do SIPs on basket of stocks. Now what are basket of stocks? आप इसको ऐसे imagine करो कि for example this is a basket that you have created. You put like 10 stocks in it, right? And this is like August of 2024 and you are making a salary of 1 lakh and 40,000 you are investing on monthly basis. So you have selected 10 stocks on which you will keep on doing SIPs. Now, how much commissions are you paying if you are creating this basket of stocks? The short answer is 0%. But if you are doing it via the mutual fund route, चाहे वो small cap actively managed हो गए या फिर mid cap actively managed हो गए या small cases हो गए, how much commissions are you paying there? Well, again, 1 to 2% easily you are paying, right? And कईयों में तो और भी ज़्यादा होता है. So you have to be careful. I am not saying that these instruments are bad. The small case हो गए वगैरह चीज़ें. I am just helping you understand things logically. Hopefully you will understand it. Now, in case you are interested in doing this and saving crores and crores of commission, what can you do? Well, you can educate yourself better about the stock market, which brings me to point number 3, that okay, what type of stocks should I create a basket of? किसके पीछे कोई फंडा लॉजिक है? Yes, 100%. There is a funda logic behind this and there are 5 key points that you should understand. First key point is that if you are doing SIP oriented stocks, then the industry that you pick, that should be a stable industry and it should not be a high risk industry. Example, let me give you a couple of examples. So for example, let's say gaming, right? This is a slightly dangerous industry. Why is it a dangerous industry? क्योंकि भाई GST के नोटिस निकलते रहते हैं. We don't know whether we want to grow this industry or not grow this industry. कल को मूड हुआ तो कुछ और इस पे प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट कर देंगे कि भाई इतना होना चाहिए, वैसा होना चाहिए, और इतने regulations and all that stuff. So this is an evolving industry. Is this a good industry to invest? Yes. But in SIP mode, does it make sense? Maybe, maybe not, right? So this is dangerous. Most of your SIP money should go to stable industry. Now, what is a stable industry? For example, banks. Your banks it's almost 100% regulated. It's not as if that there is anything more left to regulate, right? Whatever new products come, they will also get regulated. Even private sector banks are regulated heavily by RBI in terms of recapitalization, क्या उसके फंडे होते हैं, क्या उसके बेसल नॉर्म्स होते हैं. When the MD CEO of a private bank in India gets changed, then it has to take permission from RBI. Bunch of other regulations are there. So this is a stable industry, right? Stability of regulation is there. You are 100% clear that bank is 100% regulated in India. So don't go with super fancy industries. This is point one. On top of that, the second key point that you need to remember in terms of doing your SIP or selecting stocks for SIP is very simple, that you need to pick industry which is growing faster than the GDP of the country. Now in India, our GDP grows at roughly 7 to 8%. Okay. Now many industries grow slower than 7 to 8%. Many industries grow faster than 7 to 8%. So banks, for example, grow faster than GDP, typically speaking, right? This has happened for the last 20 odd years and it is likely to happen in the next 20 years also. On the flip side, sugar industry stocks, do they grow faster than the GDP? No. Many agricultural oriented stocks, they don't go faster than the GDP. So they are laggards. So this is point number 2 that you should know. Third key point that you should know is for doing SIP, they should be profit oriented stocks. So here, the easiest example I can give you is the difference between Ola Electric and Hero MotoCorp. So Hero MotoCorp देखते हैं and Hero MotoCorp की इतनी कोई exciting story नहीं है. See, it's a consistently profitable company जिसका profit margin grow कर रहा है, profit growth हो रही है, ठीक ठाक rate से हो रही है, right? I mean, it's not as if कि dynamic growth है, something of that sort, but grow कर रही है company, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. It's a profit making company, all that stuff. Ola Electric, what is it? It's a loss making company. ठीक है, अभी थोड़े दिन पहले तक it was only Ola Cabs, भाई वे कृत्रिम मैप आ गया, फिर अब Ola Electric आ गई, उसका IPO हो गया, 2-3 साल बाद I don't know, like I mean some other random thing might happen with Ola Group. Very, very complicated business. You are taking a chance. Now the chance can go that you might make like crazy gains from Ola Electric, who knows, but you are buying a narrative. If you are doing SIP oriented investing, you are a low risk investor to begin with. Kindly do not do SIPs on these type of stocks which are very, very volatile. आपने इस तरीके के stocks पकड़ने हैं जिसमें growth इस तरीके से होती हो, right? Not the type of stocks जहाँ पे ऐसे होती हो, right? So this is the most important point that I can tell you regarding this. Fourth key point, that in case you are looking to do SIPs on stocks, please avoid stocks which are large cap and have very, very high PE. A classic case study would be that of DMart, right? And कब कुछ लोग खफा हो जाएंगे कि आपने DMart के खिलाफ ऐसा कैसे बोल दिया भाई. Please watch my video with an open mind. I am a contrarian investor. You don't have to agree with me. I am just helping you understand multiple perspective. फिर आपने जो ठीक लगे आप करें, आपका पैसा है, आपने जलाना है आप जलाएं, आपने प्रिजर्व करना है प्रिजर्व करें, right? So I am no one to tell you what to do with your money, but I am just sharing my perspective because I am also entitled to share my perspective. See, stock P is 124. Okay, what does a high stock P mean? It simply means that the market is expecting this company to keep on growing at a very, very fast rate. Now, what is that rate for Avenue Supermart? Well, ये 20% के आसपास the market is expecting it to grow. Now, मान के चलो that after 2 quarters, that instead of 20% growth, the growth falls to 15%. What do you think is going to happen to the PE of the stock? The PE of the stock will at least correct by 30%. आपको लगेगा कि यार अभी तो profitable company है, right? It's making like profit growth, revenue growth, all that stuff. But stock इतना correct हो गया. The reason was that hey, the market right now is expecting a DMart like company to grow at a PE of whatever, like 125 odd. But if the growth rate slows down even one bit, then the PE itself will correct by like 30, 35, 40%, and then you will be sitting at a massive loss. Okay. So these type of stocks where you are already witnessing a very high PE on a base, on a very high market cap base, these are dangerous stocks to SIP because इसमें ना slow death होती है, right? इस तरीके से चला जाता है stock, right? So please be clear, and आप SIP करते चले जाओगे in points पे, right? So what you are doing? So you are catching a slowly falling knife. So please avoid this. Again, these are just my perspective. I know many people get agitated with this. That's not the goal. I'm just telling you whatever the facts are. Same applies to a lot of stocks in India. So you have to figure out what stocks to avoid doing PE on. Fifth and final point, that please pick companies where the PE ratio is moderate, right? And there is EPS expansion happening, right? So this is a very good recipe for picking right type of stocks. Now, abhi kaun se stocks, right? So for example, again, I will go back, right, to some of my favorites, right now. जैसे कोटक महिंद्रा बैंक आप देख लो, right? So for example, यहाँ पे क्या है, right? यहाँ पे आप देखोगे PE ratio is very low to moderate, right? गिर चुका है PE, right? What about the other thing? EPS growth. EPS इसमें growth हो रही है, consistently हो रही है. So this is a very good SIP stock from that perspective. Then comes finally, अच्छा Akshat, can you share your perspective, which stocks you are doing SIP on? So as indicated earlier on the video, every month I am going to talk about some SIP oriented stocks where I am trying to build more positions. Every month this basket might change. The reason being कि उस month में कुछ अच्छे stocks होंगे to SIP. Next month there might be other set of stocks to SIP per se. कुछ उसमें से निकल जाएंगे. जैसे for example अगर PE चेंज हो गया, मे बी द चेंज फ्रॉम दिस लिस्ट माइट नॉट बी दैट एग्रेसिव. सम पीपल विल से कि SIP का मतलब होता है कि करते चलो, येस, बट यू हैव टू कीप रिनोवेटिंग दैट बास्केट ऑल्सो. नाउ व्हाट आर द कमीशंस दैट आई एम चार्जिंग ऑन दिस? Zero. So if you're a community member, you anyways get this for free. So for this month, let me speak about some of the stocks and explain you the logic behind it also, right? So for example, कोटक महिंद्रा के बारे में मैंने बात करी, right? This is a very good SIP stock. What other stocks? For example, TCS. I had already spoken on my community that it's a very good stock. Since then it has already given like 15-20% run up because a cycle is going on, a sector rotation type of a thing is going on in IT stocks right now. I feel that it will peak around interest rate, so still a very good time to do a small set of SIPs on something like TCS for the next 6 months till the time a US interest rate cut is instituted. These stocks are likely to do well, right? So this is already happening. Since the time I had spoken about it on my community, this stock has at least given like 20% run up and it is likely to continue to do well at least for a short while. तब तक interest rate cut नहीं हो जाते, and most likely interest rates are going to get cut in the US sometime in September. So वहाँ से more money will be raised. Firms like TCS are going to do well. So this is a safe stock. The stock grows faster than the economy in India. It had already gone through a bad cycle. PE is not crazy right now. So all those points are aligning well for TCS. Now PVR Inox is another stock that I had spoken about it earlier. I feel that this is again in a good boat to do SIP on. Business is stable, no new regulations are coming. OTT war has already happened, nothing new is happening there. Very good stock, it had already given 10% run up. Not many people are talking about it. Exactly, it again meets that criteria. For example, जैसे इसमें 2020-2021 में प्रॉब्लम हो गई थी, and again the EPS has been improving. And please note, अब आप बोलोगे कि यार ये तो यार dangerous stock है. Yes, it is dangerous. It is for higher risk investors. Now SIP is also run in small cap, mid cap type of stocks. इसका आप market cap देखो. Is it like DMart type of market cap? No. It's a PVR Inox का आप मेरे को competitor बताओ, right? Who is the competitor of PVR Inox? It's a segment industry leader. Whenever blockbuster movies come, and जो आएंगी ही, right? ऐसा तो होगा ही नहीं, आएगी नहीं. अभी maybe शाहरुख खान will not release it for 1-2 years, but whenever he releases it, it will reflect in like PVR's revenues. Okay, so all those things are cyclical, वो होती हैं, right? I mean, our job is to pick like good stock and stick by it. If you are feeling uncomfortable with PVR Inox, मत चलाओ उसमें, just do it with large cap. Another large cap that I would speak about is Bajaj Finance. So यहाँ पे आप देखोगे that the stock is available at what PE, right? So again, one of the lowest PEs, it is available. Any issues with the business? No. The EPS again is one of the highest ever. So there is no issue with these type of companies. Now when will Bajaj Finance go up? HDB Finance, which is an unlisted company, I have my positions on it also. I am kind of doing SIP on HDB Finance also. It is an unlisted space. So I am building a portfolio there also. Bajaj Finance कब बढ़ेगा? HDB Finance का next year IPO आने वाला है, right? It's already given, right? That they will IPO next year. तब ज़माना आएगा भाई कंज्यूमर लेंडिंग का, that consumer lending businesses are going to do exceptionally well, all that stuff. So these stocks are likely to do better. Now it's impossible for me to talk about all these stocks that I'm doing SIP on. In case you need more fundamental information, please consider joining my community. There I get to give very quick updates, make any major changes that are happening, talk about it in very quick fashion, because post likhna is much easier than releasing videos per se. So try to join it for 3-4 months. You yourself will see the results, the impact in terms of knowledge, portfolio growth, etc. So do give it a try. It's a community of very serious investors. Now comes the final point regarding the SIP game. That's see guys, at any stage in our stock market journey, we have to understand the risk. प्रॉब्लम विथ SIP इन्वेस्टर इज कि आंख बंद करके SIP चलती रहती है, विच इज मैडनेस. There is no risk mitigation strategy. Okay, no. So it's your fund manager is never going to come to you, or your mutual fund manager is never going to call you कि भाई अब मत देना मुझे पैसे. It's a bad time to invest in the market. Have you ever received that phone call from anyone? Right? The answer is no. पैसे देते चलो बस. Right? SIP करते चलो. No. So it's your job to do risk mitigation of your portfolio, and this is a point or a problem that many retail investors face. समझ ही नहीं है कि how to mitigate risk. At this point in time, the market is at an all-time high. Look at this Nifty 50 chart. It is at its all-time high, almost at its all-time high. So should you be putting like 100% of your SIP money right now in SIPs? The short answer is no. Have little bit of cash hedge. What is cash hedging? How to do it? I have explained in some of my other videos also. In case not, I will write more posts this week on my member community. It will make you more fundamentally aware. But my push is that at least have some kind of risk mitigation strategy going. If you apply these 6-7 points that I've spoken about in terms of designing your SIPs, hopefully it will make you a better investor. If you want that I cover more SIP oriented stocks specifically, then I will make additional video. But I hope that this video was useful. If it did help you, do press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon.